Hello everyone, I'm Ellie, and today I'm gonna share some international news in Europe, Asia, and Africa. So let's dig in. So now in Europe, the European Union is set to reveal an economic security strategy this Wednesday, and that's safeguarding key technology from China. As reported by Bloomberg on Monday, however, concerns are rising that the EU's economic security plans may be influenced by the United States. The strategy from Brussels mirrors concepts borrowed from the US and Japan, with at least 5 initiatives covering investment, export controls, and other factors. There is a worry that this could parallel the arbitrary actions taken by the US government to restrict investments and exports in certain technology areas, according to the Politico report. Following pressure from the US on the Netherlands to impose restrictions on the export of cheap equipment from Dutch supplier ASML to China, there is a growing call for a unified approach within the EU. According to Politico, it is crucial to note that the EU's economic security strategy seems to bear resemblance to the US government's actions, which may not be conducive to the EU's strategy on autonomy and economic security. The US, with intentions to hinder China's chip industry, is urging European countries to impose similar restrictions on chip equipment exports to China. This could undermine European interests, as the real issue for Europe is maintaining economic policy autonomy and protecting its companies from the harm caused by the US aggressive chip war. In March 2023, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen introduced the concept of de-risking in her speech on Europe's strategy toward China. By June 2023, the European Commission proposed the European Economic Security Strategy, and this week, the unveiling of the European Economy Security Package is expected. While Europe is moving towards de-risking, there are concerns that giving in to US pressure may harm trade and economic cooperation with China. Amid the global economic downturn, the damage caused by the US chip war to the global chip industry is becoming increasingly evident. Europe should capitalize on the complementarity of its economic and trade relations with China, fostering mutually beneficial cooperation and managing competition appropriately. Succumbing to political pressure may harm the economics for both sides and only benefit the US. As the US intensifies economic and tech containment targeting China, aligning with the US geopolitical agenda might not be wise for the EU. China and Europe have highly complementary economies, and both sides should enhance market, capital, and technological advantages, exploring new models for cooperation, for shared growth, and improved industrial and supply chains. There are significant differences among EU member countries regarding de-risking, and the European business community is worried that such measures toward China might harm their interest in the Chinese market. It is essential for EU policymakers to consider the concerns of the business community rather than succumbing to US lobbying, as the risk of de-risking may outweigh its potential benefits. In a period of global economic challenges, China is leading the global economic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. The Chinese consumer market is regaining momentum, offering crucial opportunities for European companies. Continuous expansions of economic and trade cooperation between China and Europe can play a positive role in helping the European economy overcome the lingering impact of the pandemic. And that is the news of Europe. And now we have Asian news. China appears to have reconsidered strict regulations and that curbing what regulators deemed excessive gaming. The National Press and Public Administration (NPPA) had initially proposed rules to limit the amount of money and time individuals spent on video games. However, as of Tuesday, the draft rules were no longer available on the NPPA website. China boasts the world's largest online gaming market, but the industry has frequently faced regulatory challenges. The proposed rules would have restricted in-game purchase and targeted incentives like daily log-in rewards for gamers. Additionally, a pop-up warning system for irrational behavior was suggested. Prices of major Chinese gaming companies, including Tencent, Holding, and NetEase, surged following this apparent policy reversal. These stocks had experienced a significant decline after the rules were first proposed in December, resulting in a nearly 80 billion loss in the combined value of the two companies. Despite the positive market response, analysts caution that the gaming sector remains uncertain about the potential future government actions. The uncertainty has led to cautious outlook, with analysts expressing a need for clear government signals for supportive policies to bolster confidence. China initiated a major crackdown on gaming in 2021, imposing restrictions such as limiting children's playtime to 1 hour on specific days and halting the issuance of the gaming license for 8 months. This led many Chinese developers to shift their focus to overseas games, with companies like NetEase and Tencent acquiring for or investing in foreign entities. The current uncertainty leaves the industry in a state of anticipation, and it remains to be seen whether this will trigger another wave of overseas expansion by Chinese gaming companies. And that is our Asia news. And the last one, Africa. Famine is looming in parts of Ethiopia, particularly in the northern Tigray region, where villagers are grappling with both the aftermath of recent war and severe drought. Reports suggest that hundreds of children are dying from starvation in remote areas. What is alarming is that this crisis is unfolding unusually early in the season when food should be abundant due to the main harvest in November. The Ethiopian federal government denies an imminent famine, asserting efforts to provide aid. However, humanitarian veterans draw parallels to the 1984 famine triggered by a combination of drought and war, which claimed up to 1 million lives. The UN's Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs estimates that over 20 million Ethiopians require food aid without a third currency currently receiving assistance. Tigray faces an especially dire situation, with authorities stating that over half of the region's population needs aid for the entire year. The root cause of this crisis is the extreme poverty resulting from the war that raged for 2 years from November 2020. The conflict involved Ethiopian government forces against Tigrayan forces, causing widespread destructions and displacing over 1.4 million people. The war ravaged Tigray's economy, leading to a looting and burning of factories, disruption of tourism, and seizure of productive farmland. A siege further compounded the situation, halting the trade and permitting only minimal humanitarian aid. After a ceasefire in November 2022, the region faced little reconstruction, with ongoing economic challenges. The failing rains exacerbated the crisis, affecting 36 of Tigray's 97 districts severely. Additionally, drought and conflict in neighboring Amhara have increased food needs. Southern Ethiopia has witnessed pastoralist communities nearing destitution due to repeated droughts, while the federal government denies an impending famine, warning farm aid organizations indicate a fast expanding number of people facing emergency level hunger, just one step away from famine. Despite these warnings, the international response has been hindered by theft of food aid and a lack of urgency from the Ethiopian government. The current crisis echoes the 1984 famine, and the urgency to act is emphasized by the UN Emergency Relief Head, Martin Griffiths, who stresses that time is out of essence to save lives. As Ethiopia grapples with its humanitarian crisis, the world watches to see if history repeats itself and if effective aid can be mobilized swiftly to avert a devastating famine. And that is today's international news. Hope you guys like it. Yeah. And for the last one, Africa, I just want to say that back in high school, I actually did a report. I actually did a presentation about the famine, the 1984 famine, and I remember that when we did the research, it says that every 20 minutes someone dies. And I just, when I saw this news, it's just very shocking to me, because even now the famine is still going, and it's also, again, because of war and because of the drought. And I just hope that everyone is okay. And about the Europe and Asia, I just hope that, yeah, everything can go their way. That's it. I'm Ellie. Bye bye.
Language is power when you use it. English and Applied Communication,世新University.